Welcome to Cajun Classic Cars TV and our first show ever. We appreciate all the support of people checking out our website. Don't forget, CajunClassicCarsTV.com is not only to showcase your car, but also to find out information about car events like cruise-ins, cars and coffee, and car shows as well. And I figured, let's go ahead and do this. Since I've been asking you to submit your cars for a future webisode, let's get started on episode 1 featuring one of my rides. My 1957 Nash Metropolitan. This time on CajunClassicCarsTV.com, we're coming to you from the heart of Cajun country, the center of Louisiana, and Avoyelles Parish. The parish seat of Avoyelles Parish is Marksville, which was found on maps as early as 1809. Noted early on as being a hub for the cotton industry in Louisiana. Today, the town of Marksville is known as the home of the Paragon Casino, operated by the Tunica Biloxi tribe of Louisiana. CajunClassicCarsTV.com presents the story of the Nash Metropolitan, arguably the first subcompact car in America. This is my 1957 Nash Metropolitan. The Metropolitan was produced from 1953 until 1962 and was under several brand names throughout its life. Let's take a walk around my 1957 Nash Metropolitan. It's had a few little improvements over the years. I bought this car in Texas. Allegedly, it had been owned by the same family for about 30-something years, which was nice. The guy was ailing, and so his family sent it to a consignment dealer, of which I got it from. But I love this car. Now, this is, of course, an aftermarket. They didn't have the teeth back in the 1950s. Not an original grille. The original grille was a little bit more of the 1950s kind of look. These little trim here, that's plastic, and that's new as well. Some of the things are kind of original to the car, like these headlight shades and stuff like that. We'll pull back and take a look at the full car. And this is an aftermarket paint job, and they did a heck of a job with this. I really love this paint. Sort of people are calling it a Harley Davidson two-tone. You've got the orange and the black like a Harley would. But most of the 1950s and 60s Nash Metropolitans were a little bit brighter. You might have gotten some whites. You might have gotten some pastel-type colors, neon-type colors. So this wouldn't have been an original color, but it is still a nice little car. Over here, we've got some little fake air vents that somebody decided to put on there, which is kind of neat. Interesting story about the doors on the Nash Metropolitan is allegedly, and I haven't tried it yet, but this door can be on that side, and the other side door can be on this side. They did that for economic reasons, so they can interchange parts, which is kind of a neat little story behind the car. The wheels, little tiny 13-inch wheels with little spinners. We put the logos on it. A lot of them came with what you call the Moonies, the smooth hubcaps with a big giant M on it of the Metropolitan logo. You notice it doesn't say Nash. That's because, again, like we've talked about, the Nash Metropolitan went through several owners, if you will, several brands. But the M, the Metropolitan, was always consistent. Take a look at the back. We've got a spare tire on the back. Little aftermarket antenna there with the foxtail or rat tail that they would have done back in the 50s. You notice there's no access to the trunk. And we'll show you how you get to the trunk here in a little bit. That changed over the years. They actually finally had access to the trunk. This particular model, you didn't have it from outside. Let's go ahead and show you inside here. Surprisingly, a good amount of room for as little of a car as it is. You see, they've taken the seats and they've decided to match them with the paint scheme, which is terrific. I love this. I told you we'll get back here in this little back seat, which would work for kids, I suppose, but you're not going to be bringing any adults anywhere in this car. And there's your trunk. Got my fire extinguisher and in case I need it, some coolant. But yeah, you just push that button. Now, some will say the Nash Metropolitan is a European car. Some will say it's an American car. It's obviously made by an American company, and it was designed in America. The Nash Motor Company, based out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, which, by the way, every year there's a reunion of Nash vehicles, which we're hoping to take in 2025, take this one in 2025. Yet, technically, those that say it's a European car are right. Due to tooling costs and shipping costs and just building the whole infrastructure here in America, the Nash Corporation decided after being designed here, all the parts would come from Europe and they would be assembled there. So in fact, it is a European and American car all at the same time. Now, you might have been flipping the channels one time late night on TV and seen a 1989 movie called UHF. The Nash Metropolitan was the car of choice for Weird Al's character. Let's go and get this sucker cranked up. Over here, we've got a little bitty tiny key. This key does nothing but simply tell it, I'm ready to turn on. So first of all, you've got to take this switch, which is an accessory headlight and on switch. We'll go all the way from the off position, turn it to the on position, turn on your key. Originally, a lot of them had a pull switch. Somebody over time has switched this to a push button, and we're gonna go ahead and give it several pumps of gas to get that fluids in it. And now we've started a 1957 Nash Metropolitan. Traveling on Highway 107 in Avoyelles Parish, Louisiana. And we're going to see how this thing takes a bridge called the Munkla Bridge. It's one of those I think I can, little engine that could. Because you can feel it struggling to go over, but it'll do just fine. Now, this particular car is not one you're going to take to Grandma's house a couple hours away. But if she's right down the road and you need to grab some groceries, it's certainly a fun little car to do that. And of course, go out on a cruise in or a car show. Speaking of Grandma, this car might have been one your grandma had, or maybe your great-grandmother. This car was actually designed right after World War II, when all these big honking cars people were driving. So they decided the family, specifically Dad, going back and forth to work, needed the big station wagon, and Mom would stay home, but if she needed to take a trip, there would be an economy car for her to do that, and a small little car, because that's all the little lady needed. There was actually ads that kind of insinuated that. But certainly it served its purpose as being one of the first subcompact cars, which is a term we use all the time now, but back then it just didn't exist, and here we are with the Nash Metropolitan. So we're getting ready to climb across the Munkla Bridge there. We'll show you a shot of the beautiful Red River on a great looking central Louisiana day. And she made it to the crest of the river, believe it or not. I think I can is what she was doing. And now we're on the downhill side of the river. This sucker may go as high as 70 miles an hour. For a Nash Metropolitan, they can be found. They're not as rare as you would think, like a lot of other older cars of that era or European cars. But buyer beware. You can find a lot on Bring a Trailer, and that's usually a little bit more reputable. But beware, because since they were assembled in Europe, there's not a lot of rust protection. As a matter of fact, the floor pans on this have been redone. I'm not sure when. It predates me. But they can be found. And you can find one at a reasonable price to start a project, or upwards, and that's maybe, I don't know, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 range. Or you can get one for upwards of $20,000, get one redone, and have your fun. We're heading back home, and I hope you've enjoyed the drive in my 1957 Nash Metropolitan. A fun little car. Thanks for watching our first ever episode of Cajun Classic Cars TV and indulging me in showing you one of my rides. We'd love to show off yours. So all you got to do is go to CajunClassicCarsTV.com, fill out the form, tell us a little bit about you and your car, and also recommend a friend, and you could be on a future episode to show off your ride to everybody. Plus, Cajun Classic Cars TV is a great way to find out about car shows, car events, sell your car, and more. CajunClassicCarsTV.com. Check it out.